Hello, hello. Good evening. Hi. Today is already like the second stream of the year. I feel like it was just New Year's. Doesn't it feel like it was just like New Year's? Crazy. So I've been having some terrible neck pains, so I am taking a page out of Fetterman's fashion advice. I'm not sure advice, but his fashion with the hoodie because I have like a million salon paws all over my neck and shoulders. So please excuse me while I don't look as glam as I normally do. But hello, everybody. Thank you for coming and spending your Friday evening with me. And my background, I think I'm done now. I put my stuff that I got from Michael's, all this beautiful stuff. I just, although this one kind of doesn't really fit, but it's like a Victorian mansion, but it just kind of stands out because it's got like white. But yeah, like I got my little old, I guess Baroque lady or 1700s lady. It's a skeleton lady, really cool. Yeah, so beautiful stuff I got from Michael's that I am so happy to have all of this up with this beautiful background. So yes, I'm so happy. I love this. I love this. I would just live right here. All right, so lots to talk about tonight. There's a lot going on in the news. It was almost like I had to pick and choose what because it's a busy news week this year in general. This These last 2 weeks, no, almost 2.5 weeks, have been a very long year. They really have. But we are here to discuss it. We are all about picking it apart and, of course, giving a nice libertarian perspective on things, as we usually do. But, of course, I'm not a real libertarian. And I say that because is there such thing as a real libertarian? Maybe Thomas Massey. And ironically, he's registered as a Republican in the Republican Party. So if I hope you have something to drink, something to snack on, maybe. I have my, oh goodness, it's stuck in my thing. I have a tea. That tea I was talking about from the HTO. Delicious, unsweet mint tea. Gonna try to keep up with my fluids today. Because last week my throat was so sore talking for an hour, and I think I took maybe like one sip of water. So I'm going to try to keep my fluids in check. All right. So first thing I want to talk about is what's going on in Iran. Now, unless you live under a rock, then, you know that, stuff's popping off in Iran. Like, pretty seriously. Like, very seriously. And it's kind of, how do I say this? Like, as someone from the outside looking in, especially as somebody who's, very much into liberty and freedom and such, it makes me excited, but I know the reality that they have to live in is one of fear, rightfully so, because there have been thousands, I believe, between 2,000 to, what was it? Between 2 and 25,000 deaths already of protesters killed. And I of course, like I said, that's such a huge broad, like that's 23,000 difference. And, like I'm smiling and laughing about it, but it's like, the thing is that you can never get a straight answer out of these oppressive regimes. They're never going to tell you exactly how many people they killed. They're never going to tell you, like, what their bads are. They're not. So, what they have done is that they have tried to, like, basically shut down the country, just like they did when they killed a bunch of protesters, like, years ago as well. And they've done that. But it seems like things are still not stopping. And it's one of those things where the people have such momentum right now, regardless of all the deaths. And it's almost, like I said, it's almost hopeful. I really am hoping for them that they can obtain their freedom, because they've been living under, I believe, actual Sharia law, if I'm not mistaken. They have like morality police. There, like, there's I don't have her name. I should have looked up her name before the stream, but there is a young girl. I believe she was only like 21, 22 maybe, or 23. A lock of her hair was out of her hijab, and she was beaten, hospitalized. I'm not sure if she passed, but she was near passing if she didn't. She was absolutely brutalized for a lock of hair, mind you. And it kind of pisses me off because the feminists in this country, the ones especially on the left, you don't hear anything out of them about Iran. Now, I wouldn't consider myself a feminist. I'm pretty traditional. In some ways, I guess you could say I am a feminist. Like the way I feel about, female sports and such. You could consider me like a radical feminist if you're a certain ilk. But what's going on in Iran, and all the women and men, of course, because there have been men that have tried to stick up for, say, like their sister or whatever, and they'll get beaten too. Like, they don't care. They'll beat the shit out of you. They don't care. If you go against them, they are going to harm you flat out. So what's going on is it's pretty inspiring in the sense where the people know what they're up against. They know the risks, and they are still choosing to fight for, their freedoms. Because this regime has been so oppressive. Now, it's not the regime's oppression that necessarily kicked this off, though. This actually started economically. This whole protest movement in Iran actually started at the end of December. Because, I have the stats. So what it is that it was hyperinflation. Food prices were over 70%. Yeah, like we thought, our stuff have gone up, price. Greater than 70% inflation on food. Overall, about 60%. It has just, it's just absolute shortages, economic despair. And of course, the sanctions. Yes, we have sanctions on them. But just the regime's priorities are just so messed up that they are, putting their priorities not on their people. And it's one of those things where you have a morality police, you are a religion-based government, oppressive dictatorship regime. You would think that they would want to put their people first, but of course they don't. No authoritarian regime ever does put their people first. The only people they put first are those closest to them, like their family and their friends, and aristocrats and people who kiss their ass and give them money. But things are really, really heating up. And I saw this video actually just like not even an hour, or about an hour ago. And it was heart-wrenching. This gentleman, I'm assuming he's Iranian, or like Persian. I believe they're Persian as well, but I believe he's Iranian, just because the passion he has in discussing this about where Iran is in terms of like the state of it being just heavy right now. Like, I'm at a loss for words of it as well, because it's something that you don't really see, because they kill so many protesters. We don't ever see that. Like, maybe, if you lived during the Cold War, you maybe have seen some of that, especially like during Stalin's era, where their people are killing their own people by the thousands. We don't really see that these days, but they're doing it. So I'm gonna show you this video for this guy, and he could probably explain a lot more about all these deaths, and it's really heart-wrenching.
12,000 deaths. Over 12,000 deaths in Iran. You understand that? Do you know how many people is 12,000 in a matter of days? Do you know what does live ammunition means? Do you know what it means that they killed only 7 players in the pro soccer league in Iran? Do you understand what does that mean? Do you understand that 50, 40, 30%, I have no fucking clue, of these innocent civilians were children under the age of 18? Do you understand that? Do you understand what does that mean? These are human lives. These are human lives. If you don't stand with Iran, you don't have any human sense in you.
Yeah, and the thing about what you see the priorities are with people who get super passionate about these sorts of things is that there's a lot of passion behind Palestine. Okay. Obviously a lot of passion around Minnesota, which we'll get to later, and ICE and everything. But the Iranian regime is killing thousands. I think he said 12,000? But, like I said, there's some that say up to 25,000 or it could be up to 25,000. So his passion, I think, is definitely, and his anger is well placed, absolutely well placed. But you don't see anybody really talking about it. Like, you see people on the right kind of say it, like, pray for Iran, remember Iran. You do see it, but there's not much behind it in terms of what people's, priorities who are like these passionate people. Like I said, they really put so much into Palestine. But where's that same passion for Iran? Is it because it's Iranians oppressing Iranians instead of Israelis oppressing Palestinians? Now, don't get me wrong. I am absolutely no fan of the Israeli government. But you kind of see that double standard. And it really seems like it's that, because it absolutely blows their narrative out of the water. Because a lot of the people on the left kind of have this whole, white savior complex. Obviously, I know not everyone on the left is white, but there is a huge kind of savior complex on the left. That way they can virtue signal and all the other, BS. So you have that on the left, and if it doesn't fit their narrative, they're just going to ignore it. Like, just kind of like, oh, that's not happening. It's not happening. But on the right, you have people like Laura Loomer saying, oh, I hope we strike Iran tonight. All right, wet bread, shut your face. No, just no. Go back to Turkey or whatever and get another bad nose job, because she shouldn't be talking world politics. Anyway, so that's what's kind of upsetting me right now, because I know that in terms of real oppression, you see leftist women over here wearing Handmaid's Tales outfits and costumes, and it's just a huge farce. It's all performative. But in Iran, it's reality. I believe the writer of Handmaid's Tale, I believe she was inspired by Iran, if I'm not mistaken, but it was kind of a model in some ways for Handmaid's Tale. But she couldn't write it about a Muslim country. You just can't do that. Absolutely not. That's bigotry. If anything, it's the fact that people would get upset about it is the bigotry of low expectations. Oh, you can't say anything about this and that because they, that's, you try to stick up for somebody because you think they can't handle it, kind of thing. Like, I'm Latina. I don't care if somebody says, whatever, don't try to use, I'm not your shield, But the left just constantly does that and uses people for that. But The Handmaid's Tale is more Iranian than American, which is a silly thing. And you never see these cuckoo, leftist, blue-haired, septum-pierced feminists say anything about Iran. They really should. It's depressing. It's really depressing. I don't think we should interfere. Now, I'm definitely very passionate about the whole Iran situation. I'm really rooting for the people. However, I don't think we should interfere, of course. You consider me a non-interventionalist because, I think that, they got it. they will get it. I believe people push hard enough, they will get it. We got it in 1776. Well, that's not the year that the war ended, but you know what I mean. So you have people like, I believe Lindsey Graham was even crying about wanting to do more. I think that may have been about Maduro, but Lindsey Graham is a war pig. We all know he's a war pig. So he's talking to reporters because the guy, I'm assuming he probably has like a lake house paid for by Lockheed Martin. I wouldn't doubt it. Of course, this is all speculative. This is just me talking. I'm not saying Lindsey Graham has a lake house paid for by Lockheed Martin. I wouldn't doubt it. Because the way he really likes war and wants war with Iran, of course, John McCain is smiling down from the skies, like, finally, war with Iran. But, we should not be going to war with Iran. We should not be, interfering. If anything, the private sector, charities and such, I'm all down for that. If there are charities for that, people can help the Iranian people, and this obviously not government, because we don't want government to get involved. They fuck everything up. It's just plain and simple. But, if there are any kind of charities of any kind of NGOs that are taking stuff to Iran, to the protesters and helping out, I will be happy to share that and just, share it constantly, because these people, they do need some help, but I don't think they need intervention from us, because we know what intervention from us looks like. And it looks like Afghanistan bad pullout circa Biden. And it just kind of left the people of Afghanistan in the same position that they were whenever we got there. So we should, okay. Correction, LG. John McCain is smiling upwards. Oh, that's true. That is very true. That man. I will, you can just shade me all you want to, but of course I was a conservative before I became libertarian. I was left, far left, super far left before I became conservative, but I was still conservative back when John McCain was running for president. And I'm gonna throw up in my mouth. I actually did vote for him for president. Anyway. Biden's pullout game sucks. Yes, it absolutely does. Lindsey Graham reminds me of someone who pays to get pissed off. Yeah. I don't know if, did anybody see Rand Paul's Festivus that he had on X? It was beautiful. He said something about Lindsey Graham being a bachelor, and unless Sarah McBride wants to go on a date with him. If you don't know who Sarah McBride is the trans Congress person in Congress, and that's basically, calling Lindsey Graham gay. I'm kind of wondering if they just outed him, because they know stuff about each other that, we don't know. Daddy Massey, yes, we love Thomas Massey. We have lots of love for Thomas Massey here on the Alternative Sovereign. It is all Thomas Massey love. All right, so in regards to Iran, I'm just going to leave it with this thought. If you're a praying person, pray for Iran. If you're not a praying person, just fingers crossed, just hopes, good vibes, whatever. These people need it. They're being slaughtered. And they need to win this. Because I feel like if they don't, they're never gonna. It's almost like a now or never kind of situation. And if there's any kind of ways you can donate anything, I'm sure there has got to be some sort of charities going on that are, taking stuff for the people of Iran. Anything like that to help them out. Because I believe, their entire internet was knocked out. I heard Elon might actually be giving Starlink to them. I don't know. That could be a rumor. But these people really need they need a win here. They really do. If you're a lover of liberty, I know you feel this too. Of course, you don't want to get involved, just like I'm saying. But if you are a lover of liberty and have any humanity in your heart, you want the people of Iran to succeed. You want them to get their freedom, because what they've been going through is just another example of just like they're like a hyper fascist dictatorship, basically. And, you know, nobody should be living under that kind of condition. You know, natural liberty is what's natural. It's given to you by birth. You are naturally autonomous, and no government should be able to take that from you. No person should be able to take that from you. So, yeah, final thoughts. Please, you know, I root for Iran. Root for the Iranian people. They need a win. Now, on to other talking about oppressive regimes. And the reason I say this mockingly is because all these leftists are comparing ICE to Nazi Germany. Last I heard, though, the Nazis did not they did not send the Jews home. They were usually ones that lived in the country already. So I don't understand how they're really trying to make that comparison. They're sending people home. They're sending people out. They're not like throwing them in concentration. Like they're like, oh, alligator Alcatraz. Yeah, that's like a holding area until they get somewhere else, unless like the criminality of this person is so horrible. But you have these people that are trying to stop ICE, and they don't know that it, like, if ICE is actually trying to take out a cartel member, a child rapist, you know, somebody who's possibly murdered somebody. They don't know, because there's a lot of actual criminals that are being caught. Not necessarily actual criminals, you know, yes, coming into the country illegally, you know, you are by definition a criminal. But I'm talking about the people who are like career criminals. The ones that, you know, are doing the shady shit. You know? They're getting them out. And I don't see what people have that like a problem with. Yes, they're pulling some people who have been here for years. And what I have to say about that is that if you've been here for decades, you know, it's gonna sound almost insensitive of me, but I'm Latina, okay? I have family, you know, that are from Honduras, and like I know how all this shit goes, okay? So I'm not just like some ignorant American just talking out of my ass about this. If they've been here for decades, then they have had the decades to get their paperwork squared away, because you can come here illegally, and if you do the paperwork while you're here, there's a way to get legal while you're here. There's a way to do it. There's immigration lawyers, and you know, there's like tons of paperwork. It does take time, but you can do it. You absolutely can do it. And if these people have been here for like, say, 20 years and they have it and they're crying about being sent home, you know, if money was the issue, they had so long to be able to get that. And, you know, yes, I'm sad that, you know, they're being separated from families, but they've really kind of brought that on themselves by not getting that, you know, squared away. And there are people who say, oh, you're not a real libertarian because, you know, the government borders and shit. No borders is anarchy. It keeps out people who may not have a libertarian sense of governance. You have a libertarian government, and you have an open border that keeps you open to invasions, people who do not share the same values, and they can flood in and change the whole political landscape. So borders, not closed, not open, but just like check in at the border. Hi, my name is whatever, and I am here. Yeah, just check in at the door. You don't go to a house party that of someone that you don't know. You know, you want someone to just check in. Hey, what's up? My name is whatever. Yeah, just check in. That's all. But we also really need to reform our immigration process in general. It is just a shit show. People wait in line way too long. I don't know what the wait really is. I don't know if it's just like they're backed up, but people wait, I believe, even up to 10 years, I've heard in some cases, to be able to come here. And that's why some just take the illegal route, which you can kind of see, like, if the wait's that long and you just really need to get out and you want to make a better life, like, I get that. So the ones who have good intentions that aren't cartel members or gang members and whatnot, like, I get it. I understand. Like I said, I know, I know this shit. But when it comes to taking care of everything after you're here, you got to take care of it. You don't take care of it, you know, then you're, of course, like, going to be sent back eventually if they, you know, this kind of stuff happens. You know, you don't ever want to have that on your back at all. And, you know, there's people who have, like, gotten themselves legal while, you know, they've been here for so long. And, you know, great work for them. Like, amazing. That's what you should do. Like, if you had to come here for some whatever odd reason because you need to make a better life, you were starving or whatever, like you're from Venezuela where they're actually eating zoo animals forever ago, and, you know, you come here illegally, you know, like, I do not want to encourage people to come here illegally because the trip itself is extremely detrimental. Women get raped a lot. Even children do. People get kidnapped, murdered. So it's a dangerous trip that I don't think we should ever encourage anyone to go on. Ever. Which is why we definitely shouldn't have open borders, because why would you want to encourage such a dangerous trip for anybody? But yeah, I'm digressing. I'm getting into the topic of illegal. Anyway, I've digressed too much. Let's go back to Minnesota. Or do we want to go back to Minnesota? I heard it's really cold there right now. Like, Minnesota is so cold right now, there's ice everywhere. I need, like, a little drum thing. But, so it's heating up pretty bit right now with the protesters. They're still continuing. Of course, as we all know, on the 7th, is it 7th? Yeah, on the 7th, there was a woman who was a part of Ice Watch who was blocking the road, was told to get out of the car, did not get out of the car. You know, people try to say she didn't try to hit him. Well, she did. She did hit him, and she caused internal bleeding. So I don't know where that's. It's just that on the left, none of their people are ever guilty of anything, even if they get caught. Obviously, it's on video that she hit him. You know, she got shot in the face. He was I'll give him this. He was a really good shot. Quick, very quick. Because he got her right in the face. Unfortunately, she still managed to, you know, hit him. Like, I don't know if it was the shots were before the hit or after the hit. I don't know. Either way. So that happened. And you have so many people melting down over it, calling it murder, this and that, because apparently self-defense does not, you know, exist on the left, you know, because Kyle Rittenhouse, for example, that was a clear black and white case of self-defense. And he was smeared. He's still smeared. And, you know, they still go crazy and hate him. Like, absolute black and white self-defense. And then you have this video and you have different angles. Some angles, you know, it looks like he's more to the side, you know, but the thing is that if somebody's in front, you're not going to really be able to see because how in front they are if they're kind of to the side from your angle. Because you can just set it up. You can just, like, get your little, like, Lego men and just kind of, like, map it out. Like, he's still in front, even though it looks like he's to the side. Because he got hit. He actually did get hit. And he released his camera video, or his body cam video. And I'm not sure body cam video or his phone, because he was recording with his phone. he released it, and he got hit. He really did. So that's popping off, protesting about that and going off about that because, of course, somebody in the left gets shot. That's what they want. They wanted a martyr. Now they have their martyr, and they're going crazy about it. So I'm not saying they think they're invincible, but they have just really amped it up in their numbers because that's all they do. They're all losers individually, so they have to travel in numbers. But there is one protester in particular who FAFO, they call it. Because here's the thing. I'm all for free speech. I'm all for protesting. I'm also a huge ardent follower of the NAP. I do believe in, revolution if need be. But what these people are trying to keep ICE from doing, they were absent during the Obama administration when my own cousin got deported. So right now, it's all performative bullshit because they hate Trump. That's all it is. It's performative bullshit because they hate Trump. Anyway, so this protester was not just protesting. They were like assaulting an officer or ICE officers. They were assaulting somebody. DHS, ICE, whatever. They're assaulting a Fed. Okay. A Fed for a fight that is really none of their business. Really, if you're going to be completely honest about it. It wasn't their business. This is no reason to have revolution over, Like, plus the illegal immigrants don't really like them or care about them. Honestly, they don't. Don't they know that Latinos, if it's mostly Latinos they're trying to cry about, Latinos seem to kind of lean right. Like, they're the largest and fastest right-leaning population in the country. So you think that they would want them out because after a while they will start voting Republican. But I want to show you this, I'll say rioter now, because at this point they're not protesting. This rioter who was assaulting the officer got their comeuppance, I guess you could say. You violate the NAP, you get the clap. So. I don't think it showed it. I think it's at the beginning. So what happened was this rider got shot in the eye with one of those non-lethal, I'm sure if it was like the beanbag or one of those non-lethal rounds, got shot in the freaking eye. And now they're playing victim. They're doing all these interviews. They're doing all these like poses with like, I don't know, Vanity Fair or whatever. And just like, I'm just a little activist. No, you were assaulting somebody. You were flat out assaulting somebody. And you got what was coming to you. And you were just out there to fuck around and you just found out. So they have been doing interviews, talking about just like trying to sound innocent. Like there's nothing innocent about you. You violated the NAP during a freaking protest because you wanted to look virtuous. All this, like I said, this performative bullshit because they hate Trump. Like, I'm not really a big fan of the guy either, but I'm not out there like doing shit that I'd have no part in. Like, these people have no common sense. Like I said, it's all performative. They're a bunch of adult toddlers. I'm trying to find the video. There we go. I have it on my X. And, oh wait, hang on. Share screen. gonna have to rewind it because oh wait. Sorry. Wrong one. I hear the interview in my ears and it's like nails on a chalkboard right now. 21 years old, and they're calling them an activist. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. All right, this is on. I shared this on my ex.
The prognosis. Will you be blind in that eye for life?
From what I've heard the doctors say and everyone else, yes, I will be blind for life. They said my globe was ruptured. I had my lower lid was cut up, and they had to take skin from my temple to fix it. There's a lot to it. I don't remember all the things that they said. I have fractures in my skull that they can't fix, and I can't sneeze or cough because it's dangerous too. I remember also when I shot, there was pepper in it, and I had pepper down my throat. It made it hard to breathe for a long time. They pulled a piece of plastic the size of a nickel out of my eye. They said I had shards of metal, glass, and plastic all throughout my eye and behind my eye and in my skull. And they also said that I had a piece of shrapnel metal about a few millimeters away from my carotid artery. And they said it was a miracle I survived, because if it got any closer, if it hit that, I would have died that night.
So, are we blind right now? You see nothing out of the eye?
Nothing out of the eye. Yeah, it's black.
Yeah. Consequences, they happen. And I'm not trying to be a bitch here, but consequences happen. You assault a Fed, you got shot in the face with a non-lethal. At least it was non-lethal. Renee Good, she tried to hit him with the car, and did hit him with the car. Got a lethal. So they're really trying so hard, and they're trying to push the Fed so hard so they can rack up a bunch of martyrs to justify their performative activist LARP. And the reason I keep calling it a LARP is because, like I said, if they really gave a shit and really hate ICE and really hate the whole idea of deportations, they wouldn't have cheered when Obama was talking about it, and they wouldn't have cheered they would actually have cared, not cheered. They would have actually cared when Obama was deporting millions of people. So this is a bunch of absolute performative bullshit, and they're trying to pretend like they really care now. And it's only because Trump is doing it. That's it. It's only because Trump is doing it. So this is not some revolutionary, the Feds are getting us down, the Feds are doing harm. I will be one of the first people to sit there and insult the Feds if needed. Okay? I will always, not take the side of Feds. And I'm not taking the side of Feds here. What I'm doing is telling these people that they're being inconsistent, performative adult toddlers, and they are picking and choosing their causes to fight for. Earlier, talking about Iran, they chose Palestine, but now they have nothing to do with Iran. They want to talk about Iran. They're choosing ICE now, but back during Obama era, crickets, absolute crickets. It's the biggest and most hypocritical bullshit, performative bullshit I've ever seen. And it's all because they hate Trump. What's it like having somebody you hate so bad live so rent-free in your head that you go out and you assault a Fed and you lose sight in one eye? How about you just I don't know, sit down, drink a hot cocoa, put on some Netflix, and chill the fuck out. Okay? You don't like the guy. I don't care. I like him better as a person than a politician, because I think he's hilarious. But as a politician, I think he's really sucking. I'm not that crazy about him either, y'all. But I'm not going to go out and assault a Fed just, to virtue signal on how much I'm against his policies. Especially this kind of Fed, ICE. It's not really a Fed that I have anything to do with. Now, if it's IRS or or the GATF, that's another story. But come on, like, you're letting this guy live so rent free in your head. You're doing all this bullshit, LARPing, and actually getting hurt and even killed. And honestly, I do think that that Ice Watch group should be considered domestic terrorists. Honestly, I really do, because they try to dox like people. They obviously impeded, and their rhetoric and training actually is what led to Renee's death. So yeah, they should actually be a domestic terror group. And I don't, I'm not sorry about that either, because they didn't exist during the Obama era. This is just the biggest hypocritical thing. And they won't even talk about it. If you bring up Obama and his deportation record, they won't even talk about it. It's like it's not a thing. It's not a thing with them. It's just like, what, huh? And then also, a lot of these people are super young too. You have these like super young, trendy, woke people that are just like, they really don't remember the Obama era, or they were just little children during the Obama era, which they're still kind of children now in my eyes because they behave like it. So really, you fuck around, you find out. Hang on. I knocked over a tumbler. It's okay. Crisis averted. But yeah, you fuck around, you find out, and you fucking have ICE. Really, like, ICE is actually released the crimes of the people they gathering and deporting, like child rapists. Why would they want to stand up and keep a child rapist from getting deported? They're not sent off to the gallows. They're getting sent back to the country of their origin. I think that's too kind for them. Like the ones that have, assaulted children, harmed children in any way, that's too kind for them, is to send them back to wherever they came from. Like, I don't care if where they came from was freaking Somalia. Like, some of these people have really horrific crimes. Anyway, let's go to the chat. I'm going off. I'm getting on my heated tangents here, but I know sometimes you like it when I get a little heated. We have fun. Donald Trump has achieved two great things by being president. Number one, Hillary Clinton is a president, and number two, Kamala Harris is a president. Yeah, I will give him that for sure. That's actually why I voted for him, because the alternative was that horrendous. Absolutely that horrendous. Because they're being told to be against these things and they're not smart enough to figure anything out. Yeah, I know. And they really think that they're individuals and independent thinkers. But the thing is that if any of them stray from the narrative or stray from the thought of the collective, they're ostracized. They're, they get like dogpiled. So it's the funniest thing that you have these people who claim to be such individuals and, whatever. They are just the biggest group of followers ever, that they just don't think for themselves. They are coggies. Exactly. That is the definition of a coggy. They have the cognitive dissonance because they really think that they are something in terms of like special and smart and whatnot, but they don't really think shit through. They don't. They're cat ladies, femcells, and pick-me's. They absolutely are. And they'll never admit it. They want to have that virtue clout. It's all for clout. If I'm going to do anything for clout, it's going to be something actually badass. I'm not going to do something that's very hypocritical, like pretend that I'm upset about ICE, even though I didn't give a shit during the Obama administration. Especially because it looks suspiciously performative. If you're like, I hate Orange Man, and then you go out like, oh, this is Orange Man's policies in action. I'm going to go start some shit with some feds. I don't like a lot of his policies either, but that's not the feds that I personally would be caring to mess with. Read Kaczynski's The System's Neatest Trick. You know, Kaczynski was ahead of his time in some ways. But yeah. They're not coggies to have cognitive dissonance. You have to be capable of cognition. Yeah, I guess it's true. I guess it's true. Yeah. These like mobs that are rioting, you got a point there. They don't really have any kind of capability for cognition whatsoever. No prophet, Uncle Ted. Yeah. It's all about sending a message. You know, there's other messages they could be sending that are better, but they don't. And the thing is that they should be working on themselves, but they think they're perfect. Instead of working on themselves, trying to get people to go more left, they're doing all this stupid performative bullshit that is actually getting people to move more like centrist and right. And it's pretty funny. Especially after Charlie Kirk's assassination, you had all these people that were just being completely horrible people, and you know how they were just reacting to it, and it actually pushed a lot of people to centrist or to the right because no one wants to associate with these psychopaths anymore. They're just a bunch of psychopaths, and it's almost like who can be the biggest psychopath ever, and then when there's consequences, they are just like shocked Pikachu. Consequences happen. It's a thing. You know, it's life. I feel like either these people, they were soft parented as kids, or they, you know, maybe were overly spoiled, or they just didn't get enough attention as children to where they have to act out now. Because either they like didn't get enough attention, they had to, you know, grow up too fast, to where they're still mentally stunted. So it's probably like a handful of those things. Probably actually quite a few. It's probably a little bit of both. Probably a mix of them. You know, they're probably soft parented with no attention, and that's why they, you know, act out and do what they do. Try to get all this clout. And the weirdest thing now is that so many people need to be affirmed on social media, and it almost sounds hypocritical. So I'm on here, you know, like talking my piece, but I'm talking my own opinions and my own piece. I'm not trying to farm clout off of anybody. They're trying to farm clout by going and hoping that somebody records them assaulting an ICE officer. You know, like, really? That's the hill you want to die on? Almost literally sometimes, because, you know, you're finding out. Ugh. Charlie tried to compromise with the left. Yeah, he did. And he loved everybody, and he was open about it, and he welcomed anybody to come to the microphone and talk. You know, he didn't, well, to the left's surprise, he actually kicked out white supremacists. If somebody was white supremacist, he actually would shout them down, and he actually would kick them out. He would kick out white supremacists. And they still are holding on to that narrative that he was a racist. Now, they're mentally 11 with a body the age of 61 after all the BS they did to it for their identity. Yeah. Although I'm kind of feeling it today, like I'm kind of old myself. I don't know, you might have heard my shoulder pop just there. But yeah, you know, they're all just absolutely mentally stunted. I would say younger than 11, the way they behave, because it was so funny to me. Whenever, like right after the whole like Renee Good shooting, what they did was they made their own, they made an autonomous zone like Chaz, okay? And what that reminds me of is like when a toddler throws a tantrum and they make their own little like fort or something, like with pillows and sheets in like the living room, and they're just mad. They're in the little fort pouting, you know, like no mommy's allowed. Like I was made to eat my broccoli, you know, like that kind of thing. You know, like it's just, it reminds me of toddlers throwing a tantrum, and go into like their freaking like fort or something, like their little homemade fort, because that's all it is. That's all those like little autonomous zones are. Because you see, like they had Christmas trees, and then they took some like construction signs and barricades just to try to block it off. Like I don't know, is it still there? Is the autonomous zone still there, or autonomous zone? It was the biggest shit show, and it's so locked up again. I'm moving it anyway. It's wildly ironic that they make these autonomous zones too, because it's like, now you want borders? You just made your own border to have people stay out. Like, do you not see the irony of that? Like, you're making these riots and protests against ICE, who are taking people who came over our border illegally and sending them out. But you make your own little autonomous zone and you try to keep people out. Like, can they not see the irony in that? Like, of course they don't see the irony in that, because, you know, they don't see any of the irony at all. They are just a bunch of mental children. Simple as. Like, as a libertarian, if I'm telling you you're, you know, being unhinged, you're being unhinged. Because there's stuff that I absolutely believe in when it comes to government and to protests and to, you know, revolution and everything. But this ain't it. It's not it. It's just absolutely not it. It's like the nonconformist goths telling you to conform. Yeah, and I use AI, so I'm not goth. I just, like, the goth just left my body as soon as I went into being and used AI. Like, that was the stupidest thing. Like, and I even told the Queen of Coggies in my DMs, like, if being vile, vitriolic, and a bully is required for me to be goth, then I'd rather not be. Like, I'm just myself. I'm just doing me. I don't care. Like, academically, I am, but label me or not, I don't care. I don't need anybody's affirmation to tell me that I'm goth or not. I really don't. I just, it doesn't matter. It's a word. It's a label. I don't give two fucks. They're like, you're not a real goth, poser. I don't give a fuck what you guys say. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I woke up today and didn't, like, grab my checklist, and, you know, it's just like, you said that so passionately for someone who thought that I would give a fuck on what you had to say. Yeah. Anyway. LG, you being you is fucking based. Yeah, thank you. I try my damnedest. I don't really try. I'm just me. I don't care. The Vamp Club is always looking for new autists to join, LG. Yeah, like, I'm always down for more based alt people. Love based alt people. They're wonderful. So we're getting towards, like, the last 6 minutes now. I should probably have a word from our sponsor. And you know what's weird is that I never have it pulled up already. I even had, like, I had the tab up as I was getting, like, set up for the show, and I closed it. I was like, oh, I'm going to need that later. And yeah. Anyway, a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is libertariangoth.com, the internet's largest alt culture geared liberty apparel store, where recently featured on a YouTube video, the Make America Goth Again hats. There they go. Yes, the Make America Goth Again hats. I personally have this one in the middle, the red text. I love it. I get lots of stares and glares until people read it, and some smile. Lots of compliments too. It's a great conversation piece. Even if you don't want to make conversation with anybody, sometimes they just look at it and think that it says something else, and then they absolutely will avoid you. So it goes both ways. But the cool people will start conversations with you. But yeah, so have those, the goth ones, in trucker, dad hat, snapback, and beanie. Oh yeah, and there's shirts too. Yeah, keep forgetting. There's shirts too. But there's also metal, punk, and emo. I do have, that's up somewhere, I don't know where. The metal one. I wore that with Brian when Brian was on, wore my Make America Metal Again snapback. So I have that one too. But it is kind of cold, so maybe you should get yourself a beanie and Make America Goth Again beanie. There are beanies that are not that. I have so much in here, like y'all won't believe. I have everything from leggings to shoes to flip flops to sweatpants and obviously shirts. So yeah, like check it out. Like even if you just want to browse and just kind of see the kind of crap that I came up with, yeah, some of it sucks. I'm in no way a professional. I do make these, and I actually had a couple, like 2 or 3, actually professionally drawn for the shop. So they are specific to the shop, which would be the duopoly, which is a big seller, which is the 2-headed pig, because that's supposed to represent the duopoly of the right and the left. And oh yeah, there's Pinup too. Yeah, so yeah, check it out. I know I'm sitting here just like blabbing about my store, but I am very proud of it. It's my baby. Oh yeah, and Valentine's Day is coming up. Get your sweetheart one of these. I made it last year. I forgot to take it down. Same with those last 2 shirts that were next to it. For all you Ron Paul lovers out there, y'all might like this. This is a Valentine's card you can give your sweetheart. It says, "I love you just as much as I love Ron Paul." Because it's got Ron Paul on the front with like a heart. Yeah, see? And then inside it says, "I do. I swear." And then if you zoom in, it says, "But not more though. Not more than though." So if you have a sweetheart that knows you love Ron Paul, check that out. It's a fun little, libertarian themed Valentine's Day card that I just thought it was funny. So that's what I made. Oh. I was going off about the store and it wasn't even showing the store. Yeah, okay, there you go. Now you can see it. Y'all, I'm off my game tonight. I'm in pain, okay? But I didn't want to cancel on y'all because I like spending my Friday nights with all y'all and hanging out and chatting the news, biz, and tea. Anyway, let me show you. Now that you can see the tab, I love you just as much as I love Ron Paul. And then the inside, "I do, I swear, but not more than though." I should make one with Thomas Massey in it. Oh yeah, that's what it says right here. Front, "I love you just as much as I love Ron Paul. I do, I swear, not more than though." But it's available in 406, 507, 5.83 by 827. That is a random size. Anyway, yeah. Check that out for Valentine's Day. It's at the very bottom on the front page because, I slowed down on designs. There's also a couple of, I guess, Valentine sort of themed shirts here. Let's see. This one. "Bless the lovers, damn the rulers." Yeah, there's that. Yeah. And then this one. "Break laws, not hearts." Yeah, I like that. Break laws, not hearts. All right, so we are coming up on 1 hour. Thank y'all again for, joining me. Like, I always enjoy hanging out with everybody. It's always fun. The chat is so lively, and it's always great to talk about what's going on, especially from a libertarian perspective with people who share similar ideas. But if you don't and you're in the chat, it's fine. It's cool. Like, you're still welcome. I do not require an echo chamber to enjoy myself. Okay. Unlike some people on some different sides of the aisle, they require echo chambers, or otherwise people are evil if they're not in the echo chamber. But I do hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. In I was gonna say, and make great choices. I watch too much Bailey Sarian. I love Bailey Sarian. Anyway, have a great rest of your weekend, and to remember always lead with kindness, unless they don't deserve it. All right.